What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is my 2001 Lexus GS300, as you may or may not know, and in this video we're going to be replacing the exhaust on it. I will be building a custom exhaust for it. Unfortunately I gotta keep it quiet, but it will be a high flow system. It's going to basically be from the manifolds back. And the manifolds include the cats, so although I want to call it a cat back system, the cats being within the manifolds, it makes it basically it still is a catback system, but it's like from the manifold back. The reason I'm not replacing the manifolds is because one, these are not in too bad of condition, and two, I don't have $1,000 to spend on headers. So I'm gonna keep it at stock headers and stock cats from here on, and I'll show you once the car is up in the air, everything's getting replaced except for the factory resonators. Those are staying. Worst case, if I don't like it, I'll delete them. So here's what I have for mufflers. It's going to be a dual muffler setup, just like the factory. I bought these Dynamax Super Turbo mufflers, which are the quietest ones that you can find, I think. They also have extremely high flow, supposedly. Here's a little preview cutout of the muffler. You can see how the flow goes in, and from what I've read, they have 2.5-inch pipings. By the way, this is a 2.5-inch muffler, and I'm going with 2.5-inch piping all the way back, but it's got 2.5-inch piping all the way throughout it, which is good, helps with flow. For piping, I bought this kit off of Amazon. It's a 2.5-inch exhaust pipe kit that comes with 4 pieces of 48-inch long pipe, 4 pieces of 90 degree, 4 pieces of 45, and 4 pieces of 180 degrees. It's a good amount of pipe for $150, not a bad deal. Having said that, let's get the car in and get it up on jack stands. Oh, and of course, before I start, I'm gonna do this at the end of the video also, some sound samples of the stock exhaust and my new exhaust, but here's just a preview of what it sounds like right now. And then once we get it installed, I'll get you some clips of what it sounds like with the new system. Let's do a little cold start action. Alright, so looking under the car, those are the manifolds right there. As you can see, they're a little rusty, but they're still okay. And then you come to right here, that's when it gets a little iffy. That's my work right there. When I did the engine rebuild on this, the flanges were already cut and welded together here. So what I had to do is cut the exhaust, extend it, put my own flanges in so I can bolt up the rest. Obviously this is all getting deleted. You come back a little more and you can see someone else's work of art right here with whatever they did here to this bung, re-welded it in, welded a new one in. I don't know what happened, but something happened here. And then this Y-pipe section, I mean where the Y-pipe starts, it's been patched with a piece of pipe and it's in really poor condition. It's like it's ready to fall off. Back here, I replaced that section last year, about a year ago, because the exhaust broke on me. Right here, clean off. Here's a clip of what it sounded like when that happened. And from here back, I am deleting the secondary cat, or third cat as some might call it. And because I'm removing all this, I'm actually going to keep a true dual setup, so to speak. So I'm going to have two separate pipes from each manifold come down, bend around here, go up, bypass, delete all this, and then each of the two pipes is going to go in their corresponding resonator and keep those. And then from there on, it's from the resonators on, it's going to come back. This piece of pipe is decent, but the flanges are rotted. The mufflers themselves are actually rotting from inside out on the top, which is common. So you look at them right here and you're like, oh, these mufflers are perfect. Well, no, I'll show you. They also have holes right in the back where the pipe goes in. You can see this one's starting to show signs right here. So they're in poor condition. They're just gonna get thrown away, replaced with new stuff. I was debating whether I should go factory muffler and just find like someone that is selling good condition mufflers, but I couldn't find anybody. And at the same time, I wanted something more upgraded if I'm gonna do all this work. So figured I'd buy the Dynomax, give those a try. Having said that, I think let's get started. Let's take this whole exhaust down. That works. Forgot to disconnect the O2 sensor up front. That's disconnected. I had my friend who works at a shop try to take this out with a torch. It's not coming out, so I'm just gonna buy a new one. Jack stand's gonna fall. Look at this beauty. As you can see, I tried to patch this. Well, tried to patch that. That worked. No, it didn't. That's leaking. Pretty sure somewhere around here is leaking. Same. That didn't work great either. That's not leaking, so that's surprising. That's leaking. That's leaking. These were leaking. I mean, it was quality. Well, it was. So let's chop off these resonators and throw the rest away. So for this job, I do want to take off the manifolds because I need to cut down the pipe a little bit, re-weld flanges onto it, and make sure that everything on the manifold itself is good. All right, so I have everything unbolted. If you're dealing with unmodified stock manifolds, these are one piece because they're flanged at the bottom together. Mine are not because I already fixed that. I think that's a big mistake because it's really difficult to take them out. They're heavy and it's a pain to have to wiggle them out, so I'm going to take them out separately. But unfortunately, if you have unmodified ones, then they're going to be one piece. Even with them being two pieces, it's still not very easy. So as you can see on this manifold here, this is 2.5-inch pipe, comes out of the cat, but this is a big restriction here. It narrows down to like a 2-inch or something, and in order for me to get my pipe on there, I'm gonna have to cut the part off that narrows down, put 2.5-inch pipe up to like here somewhere, put my own flange on, and build it from there. Okay, so I cut the manifold pipes down. This is like a double pipe in there. I'm just gonna leave it because it goes like all the way in. I'm not sure why, but I made this sleeve right here to extend the flange out a little bit, and then made this one also. And what I'm going to do is actually weld the flanges onto the little sleeves that I made. That way I know these two are parallel to each other. And then I'm going to position, the sleeve is just slightly bigger than the pipe, so I can actually turn it a little bit one way or the other to make it fit. And that's how I'm going to get these to sit parallel. I'm going to use a piece of wood and figure something out, but basically I want to make these sit parallel to each other, but they don't have to be perfectly straight onto this pipe. So let's get welding. All right, these are welded. So next I want to build the H-pipe because that will determine the angle of the flanges up there at the manifold. So I'm going to take this old piece of the Y pipe, and I tried to measure up in the car, but it's really difficult with, well, just me and no exhaust jack or lift or anything. I tried to measure the approximate distance between the two pipes so I can make the H pipe, but what I thought after was that I can just take this and center both of the pipes on these old ones, and that'll give me the spacing between the two of them that I need. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so the last time I filmed, I did not have any of this made. And what I did is I cut down a piece of pipe, bent the edges a little bit. I measured the distance between the two pipes, and it's supposed to be 1 inch, so I made this 1 inch wide. And then I cut a 45 and a 45, 45, 45, same here. And then just, well, match it all up. Now, it's not perfect. This, I would have liked to have a little more room in there, so we'll see how that goes when it comes to welding it. I think I'll be okay. I think I can do it, but I would have liked to have a little bit more room. Having said that, I'm going to tack weld the H pipe in place, see how it fits on the car. It should fit. Once it's test fitted, I'm going to weld it all up, extend these pipes so I can weld on the flanges, and this is the pipe that will then, I'm going to cut it here somewhere, then they're going to swoop backwards, do another 90, go to the rear of the car. This is the front. All right, so some time has passed. I finished up the H pipe. I welded all the seams. It's not perfect, but it's my first homemade H pipe, and well, I'm pretty proud of how it came out. I welded the flanges onto the manifold, so I finished those up. Those don't have to come out anymore. So what I'm going to do now is cut these pipes right here because they actually stick out too far into the tunnel, and I need to, I actually marked it. Those are not the marks. Where is it? I actually marked it right here and right down there where I have to cut them. And then I cut these 90-degree angles because they were too long. I'm going to weld them onto these pipes wherever they line up with the mark that I made, so that this 90-degree angle brings it into the tunnel, and then from here it goes straight back into the factory resonators, which the resonators aren't here. They're like right here somewhere. So I'll have to extend these pipes a little bit, but that's whatever. I'm going to do some cuts, some welding, and I'll be back when this is all one piece. Alright, so here it is. Next, let's fit up the resonators. So, here we have the finalized mid section of the exhaust. Put the two resonators on. All this is welded, and for the, like, 100th time, let's put it back onto the car. I'm going to put a flange. Oh yeah, it's snowing now. I'm going to put a flange by the mufflers, so I'm going to extend this piece to go underneath the rear differential, and once it swoops up to go to the muffler, that's where I'm going to flange it. So the manifolds are going to be one piece, this is going to be another section up to like the mufflers somewhere over here, and then the mufflers are going to be detachable because I just don't want it all to be one giant unit. Although it is possible to remove it all as one giant unit, it's a pain, and I'd rather have flanges and have it all in 3 pieces. So let's get it back on the car and test fit some pipes to see how long I have to cut them to make it to the muffler flange. So here's a preview of what it looks like from underneath. You got manifolds, flanges, H pipe, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. And after those 2 turns, it goes straight down the tunnel. It's not as tucked up as I thought it would be, but I couldn't tuck it up more just because I didn't want it to be, I would have had to put an angle here, so I could like lift it up over here. But if I lifted it up over here, then the flanges would potentially make contact with the body. So I just left it hanging a little bit lower. It's actually not that low if you look at it. If you look at it, it doesn't actually hang very low. That right there is lower than it will be just because it's not hung onto anything. Like it's just on a jack stand. It'll be a little bit higher. The next piece of pipe will have the hangers on it. So far it has no hangers whatsoever. Well, I mean it has one by the transmission, but it's broken, so I can't use it. So at this point I need to measure how much pipe I need from here all the way past that rear differential, like right before the spare tire, and that's where it's going to swoop up left and right so it can connect to the mufflers. So basically right here is just a straight piece of pipe. Hey, guess what? It's been a while again, and I changed my mind another 345 times, and I ended up not putting flanges on the mufflers, because I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. I made the pipes, I made the cuts, and I was about to tack it together, and I was like, uh-oh, wait a minute, I forgot flanges. So I said, oh well. So I made it all one piece, which is exactly what I didn't want to do, but hey, welcome to Project Cars. Anyway, let's get this in the car. Now that it weighs 5,000 pounds, we'll start it up, see what it sounds like. I might eventually put some nice chrome tips on it. For now, I'm just gonna put these pieces of pipe. I chose to get the end of the pipe where it's flanged out a little bit and make that the tip on both ends. Well, that one's, whatever, that you can't see that weld, it's under the bumper. It sticks out about an inch past the bumper. I might cut them slanted, or I might just end up buying tips in the future, but they're like $30–40 a piece for nice rolled chrome tips. So yeah, not now. Anyway, let's get this on the car. All right, so everything's in place. All the sensors are back in. Here's a preview of what it looks like under the car. Again, it doesn't hang too low. It's not that bad. And here's what it looks like from behind. It's not perfectly lined up. When I tacked it into place, it was, but whatever. When I put the tips on, I can correct that. It's not a big deal. Mufflers are obviously significantly smaller. And here's a view from the rear. Let's do a startup, first startup. It's gonna be a first one for me and for you. Let it run while I take it off the jack stands so that it can burn off the oil that's on the exhaust. The exhaust came coated with oil, so. Alright, so a almost 2-month update. It's been about 1,500 miles since I've put the exhaust on. The car is super dirty, but it's finally summer, so we're in summer mode. This is what it looks like with the tips on. They're not perfect. I could have done a much better job lining them up, but it is what it is. They're not too bad. I did try to fix the alignment of the pipes a little bit. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. I also went ahead and painted the exhaust. I don't know if you can see it, but it is now all painted black. Weight reduction. Car is super dirty, so I'll have to fix that. So my honest opinion of this is it's a great setup. It did gain some power. I can definitely feel some power gains in the mid-range of the low RPM hasn't really changed. High RPM hasn't really changed, but the mid-range has definitely picked up quite a bit of power, at least what you can feel. Obviously, I don't have access to measure it on the dyno or anything, but I did feel an increase in power. It does drone a little bit at low RPM. I would say anywhere between 1,000 and about 1,400. Under slight acceleration it drones. I want to build a so-called Helmholtz Resonator, or J-pipe, or drone cancel, delete, whatever pipe, whatever you want to call it. I want to build one of those to basically cancel the drone at that specific RPM range. So you calculate the frequency, or you measure the frequency that you want it at, and then you build the pipe a certain length, you cap it off flat at the end. It's also known as a 1/4-inch length pipe because it basically bounces sound waves back at 1/4 of their wavelength to cancel them out. But other than that, I'm very happy with the results. I'm very happy with the way it looks, the way it performs, and the way it sounds. Here's another quick preview of what it sounds like. I like that you can hear crackles and pops at low RPMs. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped you out if you're looking to build an exhaust for your GS300. Having said that, stay tuned for more videos on this car and on the Corolla. They will be coming out soon, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.